She's sitting across from you, her eyes wide, her heart open, her voice trembling just a little as she shares something raw, something real. Maybe it's a fear, or a hope, or a dream that she's barely dared to name. And she's not asking you to fix it, and she's not asking you to solve it either. She's asking you to hold it, to hold her. And not with solutions, and not with strategies, but with presence, with a steadiness, right? With this kind of quiet that is unshakable and it feels safe, and a kind of presence that says, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, I can hold this with you. But as she speaks, something inside of you stirs. Maybe it's a discomfort, maybe a restlessness, and you feel it rising, this urge to pull away, to shut down, to make a joke, to change the subject, to disappear. Because holding her heart feels impossible when you can't even hold your own. And you say you want intimacy, you say you want love, and you say you want to be her safe place. But consider this. You can't hold someone else's heart when you've never actually learned to hold your own in the first place. And you can't offer steadiness if you're running from your own storms. You can't offer presence if you've abandoned yourself somewhere along the way. It's hard to offer safety when you're unsafe with your own emotions, right? But let's just slow this down a little bit here. What does it mean to find space or to hold space with someone? It's one of those phrases that sounds nice, but it feels a bit vague, doesn't it? Here's what I think it means. I think holding space is this ability to sit with discomfort, your own or with others, without rushing to fix it or to run away or flee or control it. It's the capacity to be present with pain, with fear, uncertainty, and to stay. It's this willingness to witness, like fully, openly witness without judgment or panicking. And most of us, we're never taught how to do this. We're taught instead how to fix things. We're taught how to solve things, how to perform strength, right? How to hide like our weaknesses, and how to run from anything that feels too big, too messy, too hard. And we've learned to escape instead of enduring. And the cost of that is that we can't hold space for others because we've never learned to hold space for ourselves in the first place. Let's talk a little bit about why we struggle to hold space for ourselves in the first place. You see, if you've never learned to sit with your own emotions, then they can be absolutely terrifying. Anger, just suppress it, right? Fear, mask it. If it's grief, just bury it deeper. Loneliness, drown it with distraction. You don't sit with your feelings. Instead, we've learned just to run away. We sprint away from them. We don't soothe ourselves. We instead abandon ourselves in the midst. And every time we do this, we teach ourselves a dangerous lesson, and that is that our emotions are not safe. So when she brings her emotions to you, her vulnerability, her tenderness, her gentleness, her uncertainty, then we panic. Not because she's wrong, not because she's too much, but because her feelings trigger our unheld ones. See, we're not reacting to her, we're reacting to the parts of us that we've never learned to hold in the first place. But let me just pivot for a moment here. Because, again, just give me a few moments here. I'm going to unpack a bit about the steps to actually start holding space for ourselves. But first, let me just say this. It's not about perfection. It's not about practice. But it's about how you move from being overwhelmed by intimacy to becoming a safe place where love can actually grow. Okay? And here's what holding space for ourselves could look like in the first place. See, holding space for ourselves does not mean we're wallowing. It doesn't mean that we're engrossed in self-pity. It doesn't mean that we're endlessly gazing at our navels. It does mean that we're meeting our own emotions, but meeting them with curiosity instead of judgment. We're meeting our emotions with compassion instead of criticism. We're meeting our emotions with presence instead of panic. It means that we're saying to ourselves something like this. We're saying, it's okay to feel this, and I can sit with this even though it's uncomfortable, and I don't have to solve this. I just have to stay in the midst of it. It means you're becoming your own steady place before you ever try to be that for someone else, right? Because you can't give what you haven't learned to receive in the first place, even from yourself. And here's some practical steps to consider. Number one, name what you feel. The first step in holding space for yourself is simple, but it's not easy. Name what you feel. Not just oh, I feel bad, but I am, like, go specific. Is it sadness? Is it fear? Is it anger perhaps? Is it loneliness? Is it shame? See, most of us, we're so used to just running from our feelings that we haven't even practiced how to recognize our feelings in the first place with specificity. We lump them all together with just this broad term that says bad and slam the door. But the thing is, you can't hold what you aren't able to name. Naming is not about fixing. Naming is about seeing. It's about observing, witnessing, noticing. It's about saying, oh, this is sadness, or oh, this is fear right here, or ouch, this is hurt. And just sitting with that awareness, like without judgment, without trying to make it go away, it's a really helpful starting place. Feelings want to be witnessed. They want to be expressed, not wrestled with. And when you name them, you're giving them and yourself the dignity of being seen. Second practical step is stay without trying to solve it, okay? And this next step is harder. But let me say it again. Stay without trying to solve it. When discomfort rises, the instinct is to, how do I fix this, right? So you distract and you rationalize it and you numb and you deny. But healing doesn't come from fixing. It comes from staying in the midst of it. It comes from sitting with the discomfort without demanding that it disappear. It's about saying, I can feel this and I can survive after feeling this. I can sit with this without running away from this. I can be present to my own pain. This is what holding space really looks like. Not rushing, right? Not silencing, not scolding, not suppressing, and not feeling bad because you're feeling too much. Just your presence and just staying. And this builds resilience. This builds emotional strength. This is the kind of thing that builds the very foundation that you need if you ever want to hold space for someone else. Now, third practical step I want to share with you is speak to yourself kindly in the midst of all this. This third step is speak kindly to yourself. Not coddling yourself, not being indulgent, but be kind. And when emotions rise up, what is it that you're saying to yourself? Are you saying, get over it? Or are you saying, you're being weak, right? Or are you saying, what's wrong with you? Or could it sound more like this? Could it sound more like, it's okay to feel this way. And you're doing the best you can in the midst of this. And this is hard. And you're not alone. See, kindness is not letting yourself off the hook. Kindness is giving yourself compassion. The compassion that you need to stay in the midst of that discomfort. Because you can't shame yourself into healing. Let me say that again. You cannot shame yourself into healing. You can't criticize yourself into growth. You can't bully your way into being strong. Kindness is really the thing that builds up this emotional safety that you need. First for yourself, and then for the people that you love around you. So that's important. But stay with me. I want to give you a reminder. If this feels challenging, just hang tight with me, because next I want to dive into why learning to hold space changes everything about how you love, how you lead, how you live. And if you've struggled with intimacy, or if you've struggled with connection or emotional safety, this might be the shift that you've been missing, okay? But let me do a deep dive first into what happens when you learn to hold space for yourself, okay? See, when you learn to hold space for yourself, you in essence change how you show up everywhere. You stop reacting, and you stop fleeing, and you stop hiding, and you start listening. You start staying, that courageous act of sitting and staying. You start witnessing. You stop being afraid of the emotions, like yours and theirs, and you stop seeing vulnerability as a threat, and you start seeing it as an invitation. And you stop needing to fix, and instead you start learning to simply be present. And here's a secret, okay? Presence is the most powerful thing you can offer anyone, especially someone you love. Not answers, not solutions, not strategies, but simply your presence, just being there with them. A steady, calm, compassionate presence that says, you don't have to hide here. You don't have to be perfect here. You're actually safe here. You're good. But you can't offer that to someone if you've never actually learned to offer it to yourself first. Okay? See, I remember talking to a man once. This guy was successful. He was brilliant. He was accomplished. But the thing is, he couldn't stay in a conversation about feelings for more than 5 minutes without getting defensive or making a joke. And he wanted a connection, and he wanted intimacy. He really wanted to be a safe place for his partner, but he had no practice. None. Like, no practice in holding space for himself. And every hard emotion triggered this response of panic. Every moment of vulnerability felt like a threat to him. And not because she was unsafe, but more so because he was. He wasn't fighting her. He was actually fighting the parts of himself that he'd never actually learned to hold or make space for in the first place. But here's the real power of holding space, okay? Holding space is not weakness. It's not passive. It's not indulgence. We're talking about strength here. It's the kind of quiet and unshakable strength that it in essence says, I can sit with the fear without running away, right? Or I can hold sadness without trying to fix it. Or I can be present with discomfort without having to numb myself. See, this kind of strength, it builds trust. This kind of strength fosters intimacy. This kind of strength creates a kind of relationships that last. And it's not because they're easy, but because they're rooted in real safety. But if you want to begin, let me encourage you, start small increments, right? Small increments are always safe. Next time you feel something uncomfortable coming up, name it. Stay with it for 5 minutes, let's say, without distraction. Speak to yourself like you would speak to a loved one who is in pain. And over time, you're going to start building this muscle. You'll learn that you don't have to run, right? You don't have to fix. You don't have to hide. And you can stay. You can hold. And when you can hold space for yourself, you'll finally be able and ready to hold space for her. Here's the big why in all of this. You see, the thing is, you want to hold her heart. Wonderful. You want to be her safe space. Beautiful. You want to be the steady hand that she can trust. Amazing. But you can't hold her, not truly. You can't hold her until you've learned to hold yourself. Because love isn't just about what you give, it's about who you are. And who you are, like the steady, present, whole version of you, that's the part that creates a safe place where love can actually grow. So, here's my invitation towards the end of this episode here. Start today. Start with yourself. Hold the fear, hold the sadness, hold that uncertainty. Not to fix it, and not to make it go away. Hold it just so that you can stay in the midst of it. Because the strength that you're looking for, the strength that you want to offer her, it really starts with you. And you can't hold her heart if you can't hold your own heart. But you can learn, and you can grow. You can actually become the steady, kind, present man that she and you deserve. But it starts here. It starts like in this moment as you're considering what I'm offering here in this invitation. It really starts with you. And listen, like usual, I have just a tag to another episode. If what I've said here resonated with you, I just want to encourage you, check out this episode that's titled You Can't Love Her While Hating Yourself. I posted it some time back, where I go even deeper into how self-acceptance is this bedrock of real intimacy. So check that episode out, and if you're ready to keep building, keep watching. More is coming. I want to help you become not just the man who loves well, but the man who can also be trusted with love as well. So keep watching. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.